We're here. Finally did it. Episode 100. It's going to be a crazy show. We're going to try and get through it. Dino, take it away, brother.
All right, boys. As people said in the comments, welcome to the big show. We 100. I want to first thank the boys on the podcast, obviously, for 100 episodes. It's nothing to joke about, and obviously the listeners. But what we're doing, this is a CBSI presents Sales from Flipside number 100, brought by comicbookinvest.com. All for your speculation, comic book needs. So basically, boys, I'm Dino. Boys, introduce yourselves. Let's go.
Hey, P-Dubs here. One of my favorite parts of the show is once a year I get to update when I mix the show. I update the year, so I'm another happy moment when I get to change it to 2020. So I'm good. Ready for 2021.
Hey, what's up? It's Ben S. I haven't been here for all 100 shows, but I've missed quite a few there in the middle. But that's pretty cool, though.
I think we've all missed a couple, my friend.
Yeah.
There was about a 3-month stretch where I missed everything. So
I think Dino had the longest stretch, maybe.
Yeah, I was the Iron Man of the group for a little bit.
it's a team effort, guys. A team effort.
That's part of the joy of subscribing and liking the show is you never know who you're going to get.
I mean, if my kid comes in on Monday, we're doing the podcast.
Live from the hospital, Dino presents.
Let's go.
Power of Wi-Fi.
This is John Z here, just enjoying the freaking ride.
The bringing up the rear, the new guy to the show, it's Brian McClay. Another show tonight where Ben is going to trump all of us. So now we're just kind of getting used to it. So,
you guys want to do a Flipside challenge? Yeah, I will do Flipside challenge.
Just so everybody knows, Ben won that. I didn't sell a single fucking book. I haven't all sold anything.
I think I'm like negative 80, 75 bucks, something like that.
So, I bought my $100 worth of stuff. I just didn't sell them.
Yeah, I think you should just learn at this point. We suck at flipping. We're adequate at podcasting.
Well, the problem too is like everybody thinks, it's like this Flipside challenge was like Ben never sells anything, and then Ben starts just blowing everything out. Maybe we should just present that to Ben every time. Just like, hey, let's do a challenge so he just get rid of a bunch of crap.
We just motivated Ben to go dig.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I did spend my the money that I did sell. I sent them on grading these books, so it turned out great for me in all ways.
I bought 3 books for $10, and I'm still sitting on them as they're on eBay.
Did you put $12 free shipping?
I'm pretty close, my friend. I'm real close.
Until it sells, I think. No, I moved it. Until it sells next week, I'm going to put the. I think I'm going to have the Pilgrim statue and that mug permanently back here in the background as a game. My Scarlet Letter
and Albatross.
That's going on vacation with you. We know.
That should be the trophy every year.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
to sell it.
Yeah, Dino's going to help me sell it. Paint it like.
So I guess we got to talk about listener pickups. This is McClay. This is you.
Well, first let's give a shout out to CBSI and comicbookinvest.com. A big part of this show, as everybody knows. We want to give a big shout out to them. Thanks to everybody involved over there. We got some stuff coming up in the show that we're going to bring some of those guys in on. But we just want to say, if you guys haven't checked out the website, if you're not regulars over there, make sure you go check it out, comicbookinvest.com. It's got all your comic book and speculation news. It's got amazing articles. You can pick up some really cool swag, some shirts and hats and all kinds of cool stuff. You can pick up some cool variants, some special variants that are only available at CBSI, comicbookinvest.com. But more importantly is the community aspect. That's how we all here came together. A lot of friends have been made through CBSI and comicbookinvest.com, and it's brought you this show. So make sure you guys go check it out, and we'll talk more about that later on.
And only 1 out of 5 of us is qualified to write for it.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, I wrote for a little bit. Come on.
They cut us,
In the very beginning stages of when Coy had to sit there and pre-fruit all my articles, and we just bitch at me the whole time about it. Because I don't have a command on the English language according to Coy.
I agree with Nick Hart. The shirts that the swag store has are super comfy.
Oh,
Yes.
We do have a lot of giveaways tonight. Paul, do you want to explain how we're doing the giveaways tonight real quick?
Nope. No. So our first giveaway is from our pre-show. We threw the link up. Some people were nice enough to come in before we were live, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze and all that good stuff. So we compiled a list of names for those people. We're going to do a random.org contest live for that list, and then we have another giveaway coming up. I'll save what that is for you, Brian, and then we have our Instagram and our Facebook giveaway. So the Instagram giveaway is closed. Just whoever commented, tag a couple friends, follow CBSI, Flipside, and all that good stuff. And then the other one was if you're only live on our Facebook stream, we're going to pick a random person from there too. So those
if
are
you're on
booked.
Facebook, comment.
Yep, if you're on Facebook, definitely comment. And the pre-show giveaway book is Over the Ropes, and the Instagram giveaway books is Sarah and the Royal Stars, along with Pretty Violent #1.
That Pretty Violent's a nice cover.
Yeah, I like that from Black Cake Comics. Our Facebook giveaway going to be Over the Ropes #1 as well, CBSI variant, and then the Plot #1 from the One Stop Shop. So we'll send some links out and stuff for those when we get there. But
did I see the One Stop Shop in the chat?
I don't know.
I thought I saw them earlier. Maybe.
Hello, if they're there.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So
Brian,
I am.
You're going to do the giveaway now for the
Yeah,
pre-show?
I'm doing my best right now to kind of write down everybody that has been in the chat. I've been trying to do my best to keep track of that. That's why you guys hear me clunking along on my keyboard behind here. So I'm going to kind of just give this a go. We have everybody who's been in the chat and that's commented since we posted the first giveaway, and of course that first giveaway is the Over the Ropes variant, the CBSI.com or comicbookinvest.com Over the Ropes variant that I'll go ahead and share here with you guys. You can see here. Of course, you can get this variant yourself over at the comicbookinvest.com CBSI variants tab. We talk about it quite a bit, but it's a cool place to get cool books. So, in doing so, I am going to go to the randomizer and
big shout out to all these people that were on the list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if you guys commented, like we said in the beginning, just let us know that you were here. You got a chance to go. So we're going to give it a shot here. So we're going to randomize it. All right. So
are you going to share your screen on this too?
What's that?
I said, are you going to share your screen on the randomizer as well?
Well, I don't want to do that just because I'm a cheater.
Great.
But so I'm on the random. Of course, for those of you guys who are old school CBSI RAS G+ guys, you guys all remember the, of course, the randomizer, random.org. This is basically what we all used back in the good old days of the G+ group, where kind of this all started. But I haven't been there in so long. Now, if I remember correctly, there is one that with the dice, right?
Yeah, you got to go to games, I believe.
Games?
Dice roller.
Dice roller. There we go.
No snake eyes. I remember.
Okay.
My live
So let's roll the dice, right?
Yep.
And that'll tell us how many times. So we got 3. So we're going to randomize it 3 times, right? So let me go back here. There's all the names. And here we go. Here's the first randomizer. There is 1, 2, 3. Emiliano.
Look at that.
Our good friend Emiliano, old school G+ guy, the winner of an old school moment, the winner of our 1988 Topps Football cello group break. One first like little forays into cards behind Brian Wood's debacle that I'm sure will be one of our favorite moments down the line. Emiliano was the lucky enough person to get the Bo Jackson rookie showing on the back of the pack. So Emiliano, hit us up, man. Matter of fact, don't hit us up. We'll hit you up and we'll get your address and we'll have that book shipped out to you. So thank you, brother. We appreciate you guys for being here. That's giveaway number 1.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give shout outs to people in the chat because let's see here. I'm just going to run through going backwards. I see Ozzy, Dennis, Emiliano, Dennis Hayes again, Brandon, Mike Morello, Ultra Maximus, Ben C, Captain, Kent, Levednik, Leggett. Who else we got here? Roybal, Wes, 9 square inches, Chad Meir. Is it Meir or Meyer? I don't know. We're going to go Meyer. Brian's Comic Garage, Peter Rena. Who else we got?
Yeah, lots.
I'm scrolling back. Doc Joe, Nick Hart, Joe Winfrey. I just don't want to miss anybody here.
Well, we have our guest.
March. There we go. Ham fam, Hamster family. I like that.
Yeah, I was when I was typing that into the random. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
Azor Steiger, man.
Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate it. Luis Ramirez.
Yeah, Emiliano just made the comment that he thinks we made a mistake. He thinks that we said he won the 9.8 you were going to give away, Ben.
Oh,
Unless he can come up with a quick 1,000 subscribers,
an extra 300 subscribers, really quick.
Yes. So, but one of the things that we kind of all do to start off the show, of course, is pickups. That's kind of like our big thing. And one of the things that happened a couple shows back, I think do you remember when that was, Dino? That was probably like 3 or 4 shows ago.
What's up?
With Dennis Hayes and the original listener pickup. We were doing our pickups. It's something we do every show where we kind of talk about our new pickups in our collections or what we got this week. And we had a listener, the one and only Dennis Hayes, jump in the comments section and say he scored the probably best pickup of the week out of everybody. And we called him on it. And we said, okay, join in with us and show us what you got. And he kind of pulled a mic drop on us. And he showed us that he picked up a Caliber Presents number 1 for 25 cents. Picked up a first appearance of the Crow for $0.25. Beautiful comic, beautiful condition. And basically what we've decided is for any listeners out there that score an amazing pickup, it's got to be worthy. It's got to be Dennis Hayes Caliber Presents for $0.25 worthy. You guys hit us up the week before, the show and say, hey, I got a really good pickup. And if it's worthy, we'll bring you in. We'll send you a link. You join us for pickups. You hang out for pickups and you basically do what we do. So if you guys got anything coming up in the future that you think is Dennis Hayes Caliber Presents for $0.25 worthy, let us know. And you can join us for pickups.
Yeah, I got something.
I don't think that's fair.
You don't count.
I'm just saying, I got something. I'll show it later, but I mean,
yeah,
I did get a good hit this week. So
yeah. So of course Ben's going last this week just because he likes to destroy pickups. Who wants to go first?
I go. I'll go. I'm off to the crazy side, anyways. Start off. Met up with Ozzy, and he hooked me up with a slightly belated Christmas gift. We met a little late, so I didn't get to show it off before, but hooked me up with Our Army at War 151, a 7.0, First Enemy Ace. This is the book I kind of a soft spot for because somebody that kind of mentored me when I got back into comics was a huge fan of this. I've had several copies. At one point, I picked up a copy that was actually autographed on the splash page by Hubert, but I let it go to the gentleman that I mentioned before. So I do miss that book, but I keep buying better ones, and this one's the top of my pile now. So classic cover.
Man, you guys buy each other really nice Christmas gifts.
Yeah, it's easy now. We know what we want. He also hooked me up with a couple more. As you guys know, I'm an Injustice whore. A couple more Injustice variants, random second and third prints. So I ought to be getting close to a whole run of all the various things, but he picks them up when he sees them for $1 or $2. So I appreciate that. Wouldn't be a pickup section if I didn't buy a couple foreign books. If you guys haven't caught it or didn't notice it on the stream, Matt Roybal and I just started a new program, the Global Comic Safari. Episode 1 dropped last week. We're highlighting sets. So we've shown when Matt came on a few times before sets of comics. This particular one was New Mutants 87 was the set we focused on. So check it out. We're going to do Batman 227 next episode, which will probably be about a week. In between, we decided to record a market report, which I think is going to drop on the channel tomorrow. Just talking about the foreign market, some of the comic sales that have happened, some of the comic sales that we thought stood out in the foreign market the last few months. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. But I picked up a couple foreigns again. I've probably shown this before because I've bought probably 4 or 5 of them. But it is a non-canon La Prensa Mexican Nick Fury, and they just had 3 or 4 of these with a strange, bikinied women on the cover or hot Nazi chick. So they stand out. They're weird. Some guy was selling this for $2, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy it.
Does her bikini turn into the tank? Is that part of the comic, or?
It is purple, so maybe, Paul. I haven't confirmed, but it is a pretty racy story inside, I recall. So, there's the non-canon Spideys we always talk about, but Sergeant Fury had some, and it's just some of the covers are insane. So keep your eye out for them. Way cheaper than the Spider-Man and still pretty darn cool. Same seller had some other stuff. I grabbed a digest size. I didn't know it was digest size at the time, but Flash Gordon #1 from, this is not La Prensa, Navarro. So digest size, smaller ones. But I got a soft spot for Flash Gordon as well. So picked it up, thought it was cool, and, shipping one, I may as well buy another. So.
Hey, John, did you see that question that Dennis Chandler asked about, do you know if there's any comic shops in Mexico?
They exist. I mean, there's obviously somewhere that sells comics, but I don't think, from what I've heard, they have a ton of back issues like the American ones do. I just don't think the back issue market's there. I know Tim Billhauser, who's appeared on an episode one time, and he's pretty big in the scene, has traveled to Mexico a few times, and he can find some stuff, but it's not like here where you go to any town and find a couple of LCSs, and usually they have some back issues. I just think that market, a lot of them just kind of are gone in the sands of time. So they exist, but just not the same way we are.
Yeah, so it sounds like Emiliano actually kind of answered. He said, yes, but I believe most of them deal with modern books only.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, you can same thing here is you'll find some used bookstores and, those kind of things. So different.
Yeah. But for you guys that have all these questions, make sure you join in, of course, to the new show that Z was talking about, that we'll talk about a little later in the show, of course, but guys can check that out on the Flipside YouTube page. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
Cool.
I can go next. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and I
set the bar low for you.
Well, no, you know me, man. I like to do this this thing where you open them up live on the air.
I think that's supposed to be another video.
I know, right? So I'll try to make
have a Paul's problem with the knife.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I've had those
You know,
before.
He's got too good of a Paul's problem to talk about tonight for me to.
He has saved us a good one for episode 100, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Of course, this isn't the best way to do it, but these showed up like they knew we were going to do episode 100 tonight. So this is kind of cool. And to be honest, I don't remember buying this, but that's how most of them do. Amazing Fantasy homage cover with Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales. I do not remember buying this, like I said. But
is that the one from like Israel or something like that?
I think so, and it is pretty damaged, unfortunately. That you can see it's kind of broken because of how it was. I don't know if it was that way before they sent it, but it is a pretty damn sweet cover. So, Amazing Fantasy homage with Spider-Gwen and Miles, and I think you're right, Ben. Let's
that's pretty cool cover, though.
It is. I'm not big on homage covers anymore, with this craze that's kind of started in the last couple of years. But homage covers used to kind of be one of my collecting focuses. And this does look like it says, it looks like it's maybe Turkey or something, or I don't know.
That sounds right. Turkish. Yeah, that sounds right.
You have that other good cover of them on the roof too, right? Graded a 9.8, I think.
Yes, I do. Yeah, 9.8. So which is nice.
So
but yeah, just a really cool cover. So like I said, this was the homage covers were my focus for a while there. So I used to love picking up homage covers, but they've kind of been over the years. They've kind of been there's too many of them. There's too many in that pool now. So. But this was a cool one just because where it came from. So that's pretty cool. I got these from my mom. For those of you guys that don't know, I've told stories in the past about my mom's. One of her favorite things to do is find things that she forgot to give me as a kid for my birthday or Christmas, because I was one of those kids that liked to snoop and find the hidden presents. So she would hide them so well that she would forget them.
Mom's times cat.
Yeah. So she gave me these, which are part of a little giveaway we're going to do tonight, or actually over the next week. But Garbage Pail Kids. I've talked about my Garbage Pail Kids collecting craze. This is what got me into collecting. These are the Garbage Pail Kids pins that were 99 cents, and they're from 1986. Topps Chewing. You can see on the back. And they sold them. They're like little pins that you put on. You guys can see there. And there's a bunch of them. Kind of cool. They're in the original packaging. And of course, the one we all want, Atom Bomb. And one of my favorites, Dead Ted. Love that art.
Did she ever find any that are still wrapped in Christmas wrapping paper or no?
I don't know if she ever wrapped them. I mean, I've told this story about my Millennium Falcon that kind of goes along with one of our guests tonight, but she forgot to give me an original Millennium Falcon from Empire Strikes Back. And she had hidden it. And like when I was 22 or something, she's like, "Hey, I got something for you. I'm gonna bring it over." And she brought over this big box, and I looked inside, and there was an unopened Millennium Falcon from 1981, Empire Strikes Back. Still had the Gemco price tag on it, and I kept it for years, thinking I was going to get it AFA graded. But when I finally looked into how much it costs to get those big things AFA graded, I realized, you know what? It's been sitting in the closet. I'm not going to get it graded, and I don't want to display it if it's out in the elements. So I'm going to sell it to somebody that really loves it. And I took it into one of those like buy your table at the local comic shop shows. And as soon as I walked in with it, all the guys in the comic store started calling their buddies. And this guy showed up that they had all called. He was like a super Star Wars old school collector. And he ran in and offered me immediately what we take for it. And we kind of chatted. And I think I sold it to him for like $600. which was cool. So I made some money off of it. But yeah, so anyways, my mom did this. You know, here we go. Here's even more of them. You can see that she bought me a bunch. So that was kind of cool. But over the last couple about a week now, me and Dino have a show where we do card breaks that we'll get into later. And one of my pickups on that show, I opened up the remainder boxes of some Bowman, new Bowman, and I pulled the third Vladimir Guerrero auto out of those. So there we go.
Do you still have
on air?
What's that?
You actually got one on air?
Yeah, this is the third one I've gotten on air. I don't know if you remember the first two. The first one that I got on air was a couple months, many months back. I think it was in June or July when the mega boxes first came out, and that was this one. I actually pulled a redemption, and if you remember that was on this show. That came in the mail. So there's the first one I pulled. The second one I pulled was on a Table Breaks episode, which was the 1 in 25 auto. There's that one.
Are you keeping those, or are you gonna sell those?
I'm gonna probably sell them. I'm gonna get them graded and then sell them. And there's the third one. So you got 3 different versions of them. And then I pulled 2 more autos that same night. I got a Diamondbacks pitcher auto. This guy is Blaze Alexander. What a kick-ass name! Great baseball name, Blaze Alexander. And then an Eloy Jimenez auto, which is nice.
That's a good one.
And then out of the non-autos, I got a number to 50 Luis Robert, I guess is his name. He's supposed to be a super hot prospect for the White Sox. They just re-signed him. So I got a Noelvi Marte, numbered to 250, which is a super hot prospect. And then a couple days, about a week before that, I pulled this guy, a Wander Franco, numbered to 150. So that was pretty cool. So, yeah, that was fun. The last pickup, though, this is some of the guys already know about this, but I just wanted to talk about sometimes you get unlucky with these cards and you get the redemption cards and sometimes they're expired. And I opened up some UFC product from 2009. And in both boxes, I basically got the same autos. You're guaranteed 2 autos. I got 3 autos. In one box, I pulled a Dan Henderson auto and a Marcus Davis auto. And then I got really lucky and pulled a Chrome Auto Relic Orange. Oh, sorry. That's the wrong one. My bad. An Ultimate Photo autograph of Michael Bisping that expired in 2012. So that was kind of a bummer. So then I opened up the next box and I pulled another Dan Henderson auto, another Marcus Davis auto, and you just wouldn't believe it, right? But another expired Michael Bisping.
Wow.
Man, the old finding a redeemed Michael Bisping must be pretty tough then. That's like the rarest card ever.
I told you, Leg wants the Hendo.
Well, to be honest, you guys, that's kind of why I brought these up. I was hoping Leg was going to be on. I wanted to show him. So one of the Hendos is going out to Leg, just because he's the wizard, and I owe him pretty big for some of the amazing stuff that he's done pressing. So Big Leg, one of those Hendos is already yours. So no worries, brother.
Amazing.
So yeah, those are my pickup for this week, for this since the last Flipside show. So there we go. Who's next?
I'll go next since you had cards, because I only have 3 cards.
All right.
I'll start out with, because you had Star Wars, so I'll start with Star Wars 2. I got a Baby Yoda Star Wars card. Let's go, bro.
That's,
I like very retro.
I know.
It looked like 78. Or is it 78 set? 80 set?
Yeah, it's got the old school.
That's from the living set, right?
Yeah, the living set, number 57, I believe.
Can you explain that, Dino, what the living set is?
I don't. I just bought it because it's Baby Yoda. So basically, Topps has their own living set. You can get them on Topps.com. They come out once a week or two a week, maybe. I think it's what it is, Brian.
Yeah.
A week. And this isn't honestly the even one to get. There's one that was, I don't know, it was like 13 or 14 maybe or something. That's going for like $100 right now.
But once they sell them, you only have a limited time to buy them.
Correct.
And so whoever buys them, once they're done being sold, you can't get those anymore.
Correct.
Well, this is from the living set. The other one was from the Topps Now set.
Correct.
So this one's the only Topps living Baby Yoda card.
Right. Correct. And the Topps Now is the one that's the one that's going for bigger money. So yeah. So I thought, the wife likes Baby Yoda, so I said I'll just buy it. It was like what, $3 or $4 or whatever it was. I mean, I wasn't worried.
Hey, they're still going for like 15 to 20. So
yeah. It's not a foreign Baby Yoda card. I'll save the big one for last. So I bought this, another Senzel, because I PC'd Nick Senzel, and we'll see how long he's in Cincinnati for. But the cool thing about this card, it's a 25 out of 25, and the actual number is 25 out of 25. Nice. So they call that the old bookend, right? So that's
kind of cool.
It's one of the bookends.
Very cool.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that number exactly. But I mean, I bought it. I'll tell you, but I bought it for like $100. So I mean, and then I kind of went deep down the rabbit hole of Nick Senzel, and I bought a 1 of 1 Nick Senzel card. So
congratulations, brother.
Yeah, it's a 9 probably if I got it graded, but so it's a Topps Bowman Chrome, ready for the show. Nick Senzel 1 of 1 card. So
super fractor.
That's a 9. That's a 9 until you trim it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it'll be a 10. So
hey, how's that experiment going?
Oh, the trimming? I
didn't mean to go in. No, I didn't mean to get in that. I was just
into a rabbit hole.
No, it's fine. We can talk about this. So my wife bought a Cricut. It's like a little.
Or she just said something to your boy though.
It would have burned through it. It would have.
We're gonna try to have something with a laser trimmer to see what it would do.
So, but I got something that's even better because it's card stock in general. So the Cricut can go down to like 3. So it goes down to thous. So basically, what you can do is you just set up the card and you can score it, and you really, you could get pretty damn close if you set it up all right. It's a game changer in trimming.
We're doing an expose, not Dino getting crooked.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not, this one I did. I did do one.
Because he said he had a friend with a laser trimmer. We thought, what the hell would it do?
So here, let's zoom back in.
Dino's gonna show up shirtless, all slimy chested, and I guess a laser trim my chest.
So this was the card, right? So I just trimmed like a corner of it, but this is just where it didn't score all the way, but it's pretty legit. You know what I'm saying? Besides the top of here, we're kind of fucked up, but it's decent. So, but that's what I picked up. Like we talk about the table breaks, we buy boxes of crap, and we hopefully get something nice. I'll show since we're on episode 100. There's a lot of people here. I got this out of another 1 of 1 out of a $3.99 $3.99 pack of cards out of a retail pack, another 1 of 1. So nice. So this point right now, I pulled more 1 of 1s than Ben S.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. A little later on, we got we'll talk a little bit more about table breaks, but we'll save that. So,
and boys, I'm pretty ghetto because I just throw mine in so this is like my receipt for my WoW installation. I just kind of tuck it in that bad boy.
All right, Paul.
Yeah, I got a couple. Or no, do I have a couple? No, I'm sorry, I just have one. Sorry, the couple. I was looking over to my prop. I have a prop for tonight's Paul's problem. So I only have one. So my wife spoiled the hell out of me for Christmas, and I'm gonna open it because why not risk a live on air is Paul's problem. But she got me a knife.
Ooh.
And it has this like little deer cut out of it. But
it should have been a thing of pliers.
Did your wife just raise your insurance limit, Paul?
I think just the life insurance. But it's from Elk Ridge, and I opened it and I was like, guess what she did, guys?
Oh
my
God.
God.
Awesome.
She went all out. So for those on the iTunes, it's a knife that's engraved Paul's Problems. So that was my good pickup for Christmas for my wife.
Honestly, I'm not gonna hate on that. That's dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
and then I got
Yeah.
and I got the CBSI shirt. Sorry, I tilted the camera too low, but so I got that, and it was funny. I put it on for the show tonight, and my daughter is watching different YouTube channels for games and all the stuff that kids do, and she said she was like, "Oh, that's a new shirt," and then like a light bulb went off. She's like, "Is that your merch?" So my wife and I lost it. It's like, how you watching all these YouTube shows, buy my merchandise and stuff. But
I'm gonna get Scotty to print you a shirt for Paul's Problems, and your wife a matching shirt, and goes, "Really, my problem."
Yeah.
that'd be funny. That'd be good.
Pointing at Paul.
That'd be a good
My
one.
problem.
Yeah. But that's all I got for this week. But yeah, that knife was pretty sweet. That was a good one. A nice surprise. I had no idea.
I think we're ready for the mic drop.
Did Z go? Does Z have anything?
I win.
Z started
sorry.
off.
He
I
was
started
asleep.
us off, my friend. Oh God, we're in trouble.
He
Cheers.
stepped away.
All right. So before I get into the box back here, I did actually stop, which is really funny because I knew that this order was going to be coming back. So I went to an LCS just to pick up a CGC box to put the slabs in, and I had about 20 minutes. So I was like, I'll just do some quick digging real quick or whatever, and I'll just I picked up like 5 or 6 books, but I'll just show 3 of them. But I did get the Darth Maul Son of Dathomir #1, which I had never found before, so I got that. That's not really worth a whole lot or anything like that, but I don't have anywhere to put
It goes in ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Ben has so many comics, he doesn't know where to put them all.
Then this was sitting in a back issue bin too. This was Hellboy Seed of Destruction #1. This is the first appearance of Abe Sapien.
That's a nice book.
Yeah. So and this one's really nice too. I think it's 9698. So that's a good one. And this was just hanging out in the back issue bins, and it's a Sandman 75 second print.
Jesus.
That's one of the few books I actually remember to look for because it like everything else is found, and this is one of those like people don't look for.
Yep.
Yeah. So so I found that, and apparently there's 198 on the census, and I took this out and looked at it. It is a 9.6 as is, and a quick press. The spine has 0 ticks on it at all. A quick press will push this, I think, to a 9.8. So, so I'll probably grade this one because it'll be the only other 9.8 in existence.
That's a ghost, a literal ghost.
Which is really cool because the only reason I even knew about that book was it 5 years ago when Trey mentioned it.
Yep.
And
somebody sold one for some crazy price that nobody knows.
And I was on a trip to Denver, and I met up with Keith S.
Yep.
And he took me over to Mile High, and we went into Mile High, and I found a copy at Mile High, and I knew Trey wanted it, so I just gave it to him back then. So this was the second one of these second prints that I found. But yeah, I'm like Z. Every time you're out, you just go to the end of the run of Sandman, see if it's there. 99% of the time, it's not.
Pretty much.
All right, so I did. I got I sent an order in right at Christmas time to CGC.
You had, what, like a 7-day turn?
Yeah, they got it on December 26th, and it showed up here today, but it was actually shipped from them the day after New Year. So even with the holidays going on, they got it and sent it out within 4 business days.
Well, I hope you got a grader that was a little high on the holidays.
So only bad thing is when the box showed up today, it's like it took a forklift or something to the side of the box. So I'm hoping that the books are not damaged on the inside.
Well, you got video proof now, though.
Yeah, I mean it's sealed.
I mean, we all know you tried to open up the box from the corner.
Yeah,
So you gotta love Ben C's timing. He put Comic Karma to talk about the him pulling the 9 point or the Sandman second print right as right as Stein's talking about the break to the box.
Did
yeah, right.
you send that to Paul as a drop shipper? Is that what happened to that box?
Probably.
Were you were Fast Pass, right, Ben?
Yes, Fast Pass. Yes.
Still real fast for Fast Pass.
And this was a 17 book order, so it wasn't like it was just 1 or 2 books or anything like that. All moderns, but yeah, that's pretty impressive turnaround.
Some guy in the chat's gonna go, "You motherfucker! The next order I sent in took 32 weeks."
Yeah.
Probably. Well, and it's weird is because I think McClay said something the other. It showed up at the time when McFarlane was supposed to be doing his signing. So, I guess he just didn't. I guess he
got sick, so he didn't want to take the plane ride. So they must have had the graders on site.
This is Ben S. Hot 10. I'm gonna roast you fuckers if you don't get it back.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought he signs it. Ben S. and then top 10 somehow. And they're like, oh, dang.
I thought he just had a stamp made.
So I'm going to go from the side here with the damaged corner just to make sure that this side is not damaged. I will say that I have looked at these grades, so I'm pretty happy with them. All right, so we will start off here. Let me make sure that this is not damaged, and it does not look damaged. Okay. All right.
Good.
All right, so I think we're probably good. All right, this one's a pretty cool book. It's a pretty rare variant. And most of you may not even ever even seen it before, but it's a Transformers 1, the Obama changed into a truck variant.
Wow, that's cool.
And it got a 9.8. And I've
never seen that in real life, only pictures.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So I think there are maybe 10 or 12 9.8s in the census. Not many. I have
Christopher Elliott, thank you, brother.
I have no idea where to put these.
Right back in the broken box.
We always talk about dual groups. It's a hit with Democrats and Transformer fans.
Right. Yeah, so it's just pretty cool. All right, so we go into the second book here. All right, I got a story with this one, and this is a nightmare story. So I pressed all these books myself, and when I was pressing them before I sent them right before Christmas. My 2 daughters were right here next to me, and they kind of walked into me when I was pulling this book out of the bag, and the tape stuck to the cover. And of course it's probably one of the nicer books in this order, and so I gently pulled the tape off, and it creased the cover, and I was a little heartbroken, but I was able to press it, and it did come back a 9.8, and it is Adventure Comics number 515.
Yeah, 515.
The Bermejo variant. So I still was able to press it to a 9.8. Yeah, even with the tape pull on the front cover. So. Very cool. I was kind of surprised. I thought this was only a 9.6, so I was pretty happy.
Holiday luck.
Dollar Ben Fodder says blow dryer. That's when you get the blow dryer out. He says it works every time. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a new one for you. I never heard about that one.
I've heard about heat blow dryer. It loosens the glue.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of hardcovers recently. Sorry, quick story. It had a bunch of like Goodwill stickers on them. And I blow dried the stickers off. The sticky residue was still there, so you could use Goo Gone and get that off if you really want to. But to get the stickers off initially, blow dryer every time.
Nice.
Very cool. All right. I'm not going to try and take up too much time on these, so I'll try and run through these a little quicker. All right. This is book number 3. This one I got at a shop a couple months ago, but it's a Bloodstone number 1, and it came back a 9.8 as well.
Yeah, I get that
Not
crap
bad.
out of there. Let's go to the next one.
That's the first what?
Right? First Elsa Bloodstone. I really think that she's going to. I think she's going to be in these horror things, so I'm going to probably just sit on that one for a while.
Yeah, with the New Mutants trailer dropping.
Yep. This one I wanted to complete my set because I've got all the other kind of comic or comic-y things or whatever, but it's the Batman Adventures number 21,
I love that one.
the Ty Templeton cover.
That was really hot for a while. Like
It was, yeah.
$150, $125 hot, if not more.
Yeah, I think it's still a $100 book, but in 9.8. But yeah, I wanted that one because I've got the Batgirl Adventures and the Supergirl Adventures in 9.8, so kind of wanted this one as a 9.8 as well. Let's see here. Okay, so this is the worst grade of all of them.
Throw it away.
Yeah, it's the worst grade of all of them, and that's fine. But it's a Spider-Verse or Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. It came back in 9.4. I thought it had a chance at 9.6. So, but
just get rid of it. That's a terrible book.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it's one of the books that you can still sell as a 9.4 pretty easily. Kind of like the Ultimate Fallout 4. You can still sell that 9.4s on that. They're pretty liquid. Next up is Uncanny Avengers number 1, the Gronoff.
Gronoff.
Yeah, as a 9.8, another 9.8.
Very
Pretty happy with that one. Next, I'm not really sure why I even sent this one in, but I did. It's the Spawn 301, the Alex Ross. I think they're numbered out of 500. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yep. So Spawn 301, the sketch was a 9.8. So I just was like, yeah, it's a definite 9.8. So I'm just going to go ahead and send it in.
A lot of people were.
This Ross sketch is a bit different.
Let's see here. Next up, this is one of the books I got out of the dollar bin during our pickups or whatever. But it's the 7 to Eternity number 1. It was a 9.8 as well.
Just rub it in. Rub
Yes.
in that you destroyed us.
Yeah, so that was a dollar, one of the dollar bin books
That
that I
book
got.
made more money when you sell it than the rest of us actually did.
right.
When you send it, just send it with a little container of salt.
This one's a pretty rare book. This one I picked up in one of my variant hauls. It's Incredible Hulk number 100. It's the Gray Hulk.
Oh, son of a bitch! I love that one.
Yeah, so it came back in 9.8 as well. These are really thick books. So I was pretty happy that this one was in really nice shape.
Oh, that's a good book.
Okay. Let's see here. Next up, I went ahead and sent this in because I knew Afro was hot. Darth Vader number 3, first print, the Gronoff cover, 9.8.
Yeah, that's a great book. I love that book. Got a lot of second, third, fourth prints that have different colors.
Right. This one I sent in because I got the Aspen Appreciation from 2018 as well as a 9.8. So I went ahead and sent the 2019 Aspen Appreciation. They're numbered out of 250, and it's the Campbell with the pink bikini, and it came back in 9.8. So now I've got the 2018 and the 2019 as 9.8s.
Well, we find that they look the same, but most of his books do.
This one I bought like a few weeks ago. Guy had it in his back issue bin for $5, and it looked really nice. So I went in and sent it in. It was the Catwoman number 70.
Great.
The red Hughes cover. It came back in 9.8.
That one would look nice next to the Zatanna red.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, I like that Catwoman. It's nice.
I don't know, that Adam Hughes guy, he might be popular.
I've had this one since it came out, and I decided to finally go ahead and send it in. Naomi number 1, first print, 9.8.
That's an instant seller, man. I sold that in like 10 minutes. I bought one in Charlotte and sold it 10 minutes later.
And Z hates this one, but I'm going to show it to him because I actually sent 2 of these in. Another Bloodstone number 198.
That's fine. I thought you were going to show something I was going to be mad about.
No. So I got 2 of those now.
That's fine. You can have 2 things I don't give shits about.
This one's pretty cool. It's Spawn 221.
That's nice.
The AF-15 homage. It was a 9.8 as well.
Yeah, I got one of those too back here.
This one I was really surprised it got a 9.8. And it's a pretty difficult 9.8. And it's the X-Force Sex and Violence number 2, the second print, Delato.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice Delato. It was back when he gave a shit.
Yeah. These were kind of flimsy books, and the paper is kind of crappy, so I was kind of surprised that I was able to get a 9.8 on that one. And last but not least, this one is a super rare newsstand that
Animaniacs number 4.
Ooh, gosh, that would be nice, but no. This one I'm really high on, even though there is one other 9.8 in the census, and the other 9.8 sold 3 months ago for almost $800. It's Star Wars: Heir to the Empire, First Thrawn newsstand.
All right, that's a rough book. Dang.
Yeah, so I knew it was nice. I bought this one off of Mile High like a year ago for $5. Yeah.
Was that damn toy one?
Yeah, the toy one would be really difficult. The newsstands are really difficult. The paper is not like what you would think. It's not glossy like a lot of those Dark Horse ones are. But yeah, so 9.8 on that newsstand. I'll probably hold on to this. I think Thrawn is still going to.
I think that's a hold.
Yeah, I think even as high as I could probably sell it, I think I'm probably just going to hold it until Thrawn actually.
I don't think the market's going to crash on that grade in that book.
Is there how many on the census? Do you know?
This is the second.
Yeah.
There's one other 9.8.
Yeah.
I did see one of the toy one. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I'm still surprised that they don't list it. Well, all they just say is based on the novel by Timothy Zahn, but they do at least actually say newsstand edition.
Did they say that? Did they say that in the Mile High advertisement?
Yes, when I bought it, yes, I knew it was a newsstand.
Because the regular would have been like 17 cents then.
Probably, yeah.
Percent markup.
Yeah, it would have been cheap. So, those are my 17 books that I sent in. 16 9.8s and 1 9.4.
Yeah, you can't beat that. It's the good old Ben S. mic drop.
JJ Maxwell, yeah, the CGC is recognizing newsstands now.
Yes, yeah, that's the only.
Did 9 months ago.
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew that was there. That's the only other 9.8 on the census. I saw the one that had sold on eBay, and then mine. I don't know if they've updated the census since they graded these, but
Dollar Bin Fodder is saying they only listed if it's a price variant.
I would have to look. This one has a cover price of $295 for the Heir to the Empire. I do not know what the.
Give me a second. I got a few. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great book. Still, even with all the spec that he was going to be in the new movie, like you said, I still think that's huge. So, where did Z say he was going?
He's going to go look and see what the price is on the Heir to the Empire Direct Edition.
Okay,
to see if it's $295.
Yeah. Dollar Bin Fodder says if price variant CGC won't recognize newsstand edition if there is no price variant. That's at least for me. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I think Z's going to go look and make sure or see if this is a different price. I honestly never knew that. I would have never even thought of it.
And we already have an answer on that. Peter Rena says it is a $295.
for the direct edition.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe they're doing it on number ones because they figure they're probably going to be, I mean, like Spawn number one, there's such a price difference, like in the back, in the resale, but those probably have the same cover price, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, newsstands have been a thing for, people have been chasing for a while, but I love this Doc Joe comment. Do you now resubmit all your newsstands to get them designated so we can get them in the census? Woo, great question.
Might as well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when they're doing it. I mean, this one had a drop down box, so I knew that they were going to label it as newsstand ahead of time.
Yeah.
But
well, instead of waiting for Z, he'll come back in here, running in here. I think we might have got our answer. What I do want to talk about real quick is we have a couple guests for us tonight. We are going to bring in our first guest. One of the things that we want to do new for this next year is we're going to try and bring on a guest for these shows. And one of the spotlights we're going to do is writers on comicbookinvest.com. As you guys know, you can go over to comicbookinvest.com, your source for speculation and great articles, the Hot 10, all that fun stuff. As you can see right here, comicbookinvest.com. And along with the Hot 10 here on the right side of the page, you will always find new articles. Way I like to explain it is I always thought of CBSI and comicbookinvest.com as being the new version of Wizard. So, we have these awesome articles that are written every week. Some of the best writers in comics are writing for comicbookinvest.com. And we have a guest tonight that's going to join us. And I'm going to bring him in. So everybody welcome Peter Rena from comicbookinvest.com. Thank you, brother, for joining us.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up,
sitting in the background tonight. We can't say thank you enough for your patience.
No, I appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, man. For those of you guys, obviously, that don't know, Peter is one of the longest-running writers on comicbookinvest.com. He writes many articles, a couple articles over there. Tell them the articles that you write for comicbookinvest.com.
Well, weekly, I do the dollar bin digging. I used to do Usual Suspects weekly, but I started making that thing longer and longer. So now it takes me a little bit more than a week to do. And I also do the Wizard Rewind, which, I'll go back to the old Wizard and take a look at it. I'm working on that one right now for Friday.
And I love that article, and that's why I brought up that little bit about how I think comicbookinvest.com and the articles that are over there, of course, with the Hot 10 that Ben does, reminds me so much of the old school Wizards back in the day, where I know a lot of people out there, that's where, like me, got your initial comic knowledge from. I remember just, skimming the price guide for the little black number ones for first appearances. And
always looking for the was it the green when the price went up? Is it the green?
Yeah.
Green bar? Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of humor in that book, a lot of informative articles, just a great book. It's one of the the article, the look back on all the old Wizards is something that I think a lot of us collectors do in our own time. I will say that old school back issues of Wizard, if you can find them for $1 or cheaper, are still the best shitter reading material.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
I'm trying to fill out my run because I don't have the full run, but I've been working on it, picking out those dollar bins. Like every time I see a Wizard, if I don't have it, I grab it.
Well, a lot of those Wizard issues are some great spec things to spec on. We've talked about there some crazy covers on there, obviously. Some crazy homage covers. There are some first appearances, creator first, that are in the old school Wizards. A lot of cool stuff. But instead of getting into that, one of the things that I want to talk about is one of my favorite articles, and I know a lot of the guys here's favorite article is dollar bin digging. And you recently had a new dollar bin digging article up, dollar bin digging number 69. And instead of just saying, oh, spoilers, we're going to spoil it, guys. We're going to let Peter just go ahead and talk about how dollar bin digging got started, that article, and give us a little bit on the newest episode or article that you have out for number 69.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've been doing it 69, so
as I bring it up in the background here.
Yeah, so that's over a year. So I'm starting to run out of ideas of what you can dig, because there's plenty of things you can find, but I'm not going to tell you the obvious. If you find, some variant in a dollar box, grab it. I'm have to try to think of, a little bit outside the box, and also just, for the most part, show you things that I'm actually buying, because that's the easiest thing. So I can see, like, I got my Sleepies up right here. I put that in there for this week because it's just an odd book, and for $1, grabbing this weird Sleepies, Marvel book. And I just try to think of things like that are current, like that Hawkgirl announcement she might be in. So that JSA Secret Origins book, which isn't easy to find in a dollar bin, but you still could. They're out there. I mean, third or fourth things you get forgotten about.
Yeah, wonderful book. And that's why I love the dollar bin digging, is because a lot of the books that you do focus in on are books that you can find in there that a lot of people might not look for. Obviously, a perfect example of, it might not be a dollar bin book, but that Sandman 75-second print that Ben showed us tonight. Another perfect example about digging in those old school bins and pulling out something that you can buy for $1 or whatever and flip for a substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, you just have to try to build your knowledge base. I mean, sure, you can try to use your phone, lists, apps, whatever, while you're digging, but it's really not practical. You're digging through a box. You're looking at your phone every second. It's going to take you 3 hours to get through a short box or a long box. So you just kind of have to try to pick up ideas and just keep them fresh in your mind. Say, what should I be looking for? What are things that I could find? And that's what I'm trying to think of when I'm putting this out every week. Is like, what should be fresh in your mind to keep an eye out for? What might be there? Forgotten spec is another thing you find a lot in the dollar bins, where last year was a book everybody wanted. It's there, and as spec goes, it always comes back around. So if you find it for $1, just grab it.
Yes.
What's your it's $1. Hey, what do you got to lose?
And sometimes it's just a beautiful cover that you find.
That too. If you just see a cover that you like, there's a good chance somebody else likes it. And if it's rare, or not even rare, if it's just obscure, just grab it, because again, it's $1.
Yeah.
Whatever you cheap bins you can find, just dig. Grab what you like, and there's a good chance that somebody else likes it.
Yeah, you get more of a rush out of finding bin or books in the dollar bin that are worth it.
It's my favorite thing to do. To do is every weekend I go to the flea market. Every time I get a chance, I stop at a few shops that have dollar bins around my way. Anytime I see long boxes, I just want to dig. I don't care. I'll get on the ground. I'll get dirty. I'll get on my knees. Whatever I have to do. I just love flipping through.
It's really cathartic flipping through those dollar bins, but even not dollar bins. I remember telling a buddy my buddy Kyle that I'll go digging with every once in a while. There's something about going through a bunch of long boxes that is kind of like you're in your own little zone. You're kind of like clearing your head as you're going through. It's really cathartic, especially when you're finding these gems, these dollar bin gems. So,
or when you get to the Fantastic Four run and then just skip that box completely.
Can I pause this for just a second? And I just noticed we have 75% of the OGest CBSI guys here. Leg is here. Ben C is here. And a forgotten legend, Nick L, is here. So, just to say, welcome.
Yes. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you guys showing up for this 100th episode. So
35 people watching.
Yeah. So, of course, one of the things that we're going to do in the future is we're going to have Peter on, more when he does these articles, have him talk to you about these articles. So we appreciate him coming on. One of the things that I want to talk about real quick, of course, is a news site that you're writing for. Let's talk a little bit about toyinformer.com. What is toyinformer.com, and what do you got going on over there?
Well, I don't know the easiest way to explain what Toy Informer is. It's just a bunch of us, a lot of us CBSI guys are over there, just also have a love for old vintage toys, and We're just working on things like just showing like waves and runs of different figures. Like I cover the Transformer one. Mike Morello does the Star Wars one, and we got Turtles. We've got all different types of runs, and then there's a couple nice little other articles too. And one of the things I started doing was the Vintage Market Watch, which is basically I'm just going on eBay and I'm just looking at last week's toy sales. I'm just searching through and seeing what catches my eye. And things that I find interesting and figure, other people might, as well, like just significant, sales, some loose stuff, some carded stuff, some graded stuff, sometimes just parts and broken toys, which you might not know is worth anything, but they are and it's some things are a surprise to me. And I figure sometimes it's worth sharing it.
Well, your latest article for Vintage Market Watch that you did for January 6th has a couple things that I think the guys will like talking about. The first one that Paul has talked about a little bit in the past that we've talked about on the show are some of these kind of rare, later released, waves of the Ninja Turtle stuff. One of them that you have on here is this Slam Dunking Dawn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure. That it looks like you said that on eBay, a loose one had a best offer asking for $3,000. Is that right?
That's what this one was asking. It was asking $3,000. It got 1,700.
That is unbelievable.
No, that's
for
carded.
A loose
That's carded. I'm sorry. Did I have loose? That's a typo in my thing.
Okay.
Loose one's about $300.
Even carded is absolutely unreal. For $1,700 for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure. I know that we've kind of Paul, you've talked about a couple figures that are super expensive in some of those later waves. What were some of those figures that you were always talking about?
You're catching me a little bit into the.
I think one of them was Rat King. One of them.
I don't know if Rat King was. I know there's the Dalmatian dog and the like jailbreak the cat in the jumpsuit.
Wasn't one of them the Donatello with a trench coat?
Yes.
Yep. Donnie with a trench coat. Those three are really up there. But this one might have beat those in prices. I don't know. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was, and this is actually a variant. I didn't realize that till I looked it up and said, well, why is there a red one? Why is there a white one?
Nice.
Was that an on-purpose variant or was that a mistake variant? Do you know?
This is like a reissue. So it's like they reissued these the sports ones a couple years later, and for whatever reason, they made the Donnie a white jersey.
Yeah, interesting. And of course,
didn't notice any change in their colors or anything. It's just this one they did for whatever reason, and then they reissued again. I think in '99, and they went back to the red.
Interesting. Well,
yeah, I mean, who buys toys like that and then keeps them in the package at that time? I don't know many people.
Not too many. Same thing with video games. Everybody bought video games to play them. They didn't keep them in the package.
Well, this next one is right up your alley there, Dino.
Free Kid. Nice.
Yeah. The 1-2-3 Kid from WWF. Now, this is another loose find.
This is loose.
Very interesting. $205 on January 1st. This sold for loose.
Yeah, at an auction too.
Unbelievable.
I got some old wrestlers like that. I actually have them over there. I thought about getting them to my son, but I don't know, man. I don't even know. They're all loose. I don't even know what they're worth.
Do you have the Hasbros or do you have the originals?
Hold on. Let me. I'll go
like
find
the originals were a little more common, I think, than the Hasbros, right?
Well, is Hasbro still putting out the WWF figures? Is this like from one of the first waves of the Hasbro one? Is that why?
No, it jumped through like 17 owners, man.
Yeah. They had
Hasbro was the second one.
These ones are the Hasbro ones. I think the first ones were LJN. They're like the big rubber guys.
Yeah,
didn't really move.
I don't think the Hasbros moved that much.
That made us watching that episode.
Yeah, very cool. Now, one of my favorite ones is the last one one of the last ones you got on here. This is a figure that us Star Wars fan all know about. It's kind of up there with the telescoping lightsabers, the rocket firing Boba Fett, the plastic cape Jawa, and that's the pop-up lightsaber R2-D2. Kind of a grail for a lot of us guys. I know it was such a big deal for me that when they put out one of the Power of the Force R2-D2s that had the launching lightsaber, I went and picked that up just because this was such a big, grail for us action Star Wars figure collectors. Can you talk a little bit about this figure and why it's so crazy?
Yeah, it's just I was actually surprised that it was still selling for this much, but I don't know if it's just the time, but I could fill this list with Star Wars. If you look at recent sales, everything is Star Wars. It's graded, ungraded, loose, carded, boxed, everything is selling, and it's crazy right now. And I don't know if it's just with the popularity of Mandalorian, or I know Episode 9's got some detractors there, but Star Wars toys are still selling strong. And this one, I don't even think I had this one when I was a kid. I don't remember my R2 having the the lightsaber coming out of his head, but
I think I had this one.
I think I had the original. I remember like the little antenna that kind of came out, and you can kind of push it back in, but I don't remember this one.
This
I
one,
don't know. Ozzy, if you're in the chat, let me know. But this one seems familiar.
well, I remember specifically the Power of the Force Wave, the original Power of the Force Wave that came out, where with the coins. They also had a 2-pack from the Power of the Force Wave. But the figure that I remember so big from that Power of the Force Wave was the Han and Carbonite, which is another really hard to find figure, especially carded. But these Power of the Force Wave were for collectors, are the first Power of the Force Wave are real big deals for collectors. They didn't make as many, I believe. They were kind of the last set of figures that they made after Jedi had come out. So a lot of these, and of course, it had probably one of the reasons why it's so still collectible is, it's a little weapon, like you said in the beginning, Peter, that people forget that how hard some of these weapons are to come by on the secondary market. I can think of a lot of G.I. Joe weapons and accessories that, like Mike's, that
Ozzy just said I'm full of shits, just by the way. My memory's for crap.
Hey, Peter. Peter, who does the grading for figures?
Is it AFA? I think it's Action Figure
Authority.
Stand for.
Are you boys ready?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm not gonna lie. I just looked at these from I don't even know. It has to be 20 years from now. So I have a bunch of stuff here.
Here we go.
Look at this.
Woo! Live on air, Dino busts out the Donatello in the trench coat.
I didn't even know I had this. And then these are all the old school wrestlers from back in the day. So I got
those are the Hasbros, right?
I don't even know.
Some of those are.
Those ones are
definitely not the originals. That's 2.0 Hasbro.
Yeah, I got a bunch of these. Look, I got this little crane in the back too.
Jim Duggan?
What's that?
That looks like Hacksaw Jim Duggan you just dropped.
Oh yeah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I got Roddy Piper. I got Macho Man right in the back here. Warrior, Brutus Beast.
Razor Ramon in there. If you have Razor Ramon, I think I'm gonna shit.
No, I got Hulk Hogan.
Jake
this is Rick Rude.
Big Boss Man laying there.
Big Boss Man, Jake the Snake Roberts. This is old Bebop from back in the day. Yeah, dude, I didn't know all this stuff, dude. Look at all. I'll tell you.
Dino, Paul was had stepped away when you showed that amazing Ninja Turtle fact.
I'm right back. Ah, nice.
So, I have so much stuff in here, dude. I got old cars. I don't even know what half this stuff is, dude.
But this is a perfect example of why we want what we talk about on the show, and why we wanted to have Peter and some of the writers on to talk about some of these things that you can make money off of out there. These are easy flips. If you can go to a flea market or Goodwill or a garage sale and find some of these figures 50 cents a piece. Sometimes you can buy the whole bin for $5. You never know.
Action for us.
Look at that. Yeah. Old school. I want to say, let's see here. We had a listener, a viewer talk about how they sold the things that they didn't sell. Oh, here we go. Dollar Bin Fodder made the comment, I kept all my starting lineup figures, my muscle figures. Of course, we've talked about muscle here many times on Flipside, and a few Return of the Jedi figures. So very impressive to keep those.
Sealed. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, last one is a pretty impressive one. I remember this. I remember Stretch Armstrong, pretty heavy. This is one of my brother's favorite toys growing up. I remember it was such a big deal when he got it for Christmas one year. But this is one that is just I'm blown away because I don't remember it. And it's the Stretch X-Ray, and this isn't even a full complete figure. It looks like.
I didn't think it was, but it might be. But it looks like the skin is in a baggie.
Here's a perfect example, you guys, of why we love our toys. Here's a figure. When did this figure come out? 1976. So somebody loved this figure so much that they were willing to pay $103 for parts. A bag of skin, a head, and the inner organs.
Yeah. And a really deteriorated styrofoam, the coffin for inside the box.
Man,
Yes.
like
That thing is rough.
it looks like a Predator figure.
But again, perfect example of you never know what you're going to be able to flip, what you're going to be able to make a little bit of money off of. So yeah, make sure you guys go over to Toy Informer and check out the articles over there.
Are those
We'll have more on that.
Are those shirts on sale yet?
Well, I believe Peter, do you know that if these shirts are on sale yet?
I don't know if they're up yet.
Yeah, so
I don't know if they're up yet.
This is one of my new pickups that I wanted to wait to talk about. So I did pick up my Toy Informer shirt, as Peter has one on too. So big shout out to the Toy Informer crew. If you guys want some Toy Informer swag, be on the lookout. So
Nice.
Thank you, brother, for joining us.
Thanks, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for jumping on, Peter.
Yeah, you guys are going to be seeing more of Pete. And of course, for some of you guys that might not know, you can catch Pete, our next guest, and a couple of us Flipside guys every once in a while over at Simple Man's YouTube page on the hot and cold list that has been going on. So make sure you guys keep an eye out over there too. So thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
Yeah, fellas.
All right. We'll catch you on the flip side.
All right. Later.
So pretty damn cool. I think that's amazing. You know, we've talked about before how it's really easy to make money in a lot of the stuff we talk about. You just got to be informed, and they couldn't have picked a better name for that site in Toy Informer. So, all right. One thing, maybe let's talk about our next giveaway before we bring in our next guest. So we don't have to have him sitting back here waiting in the wind. One of the things that we're going to give away over this next week, hopefully we will have a couple people that are interested in this. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is an original Garbage Pail Kids pack, Series 4, unopened. This goes back to an older episode where I opened a couple of these packs live on air and did something really stupid and decided to eat the 1986 Topps bubblegum that is also included in this pack. What I will say is it wasn't terrible and it wasn't great. And one of those is a lie. Yeah, and one of those is a lie, and you need to find out for yourself. So you can win this pack if it's something that interests you. At the end of the show, I will be making a post. We will be making a post on our Instagram site, our Flipside Instagram site. Go over there, follow us on Instagram, and comment in the section. And at the end, by next week's show, we will randomize all the comments on this and pick a winner, and we will send out this pack to you, and maybe a couple little cool extras, Garbage Pail Kids style. So again, another collectible from when we were kids. Of course, I've talked about Garbage Pail Kids a lot. This is one of the things that got me into collecting anything. It started with Garbage Pail Kids, went into baseball cards, and then I jumped into the comic book market shortly after. So this is one of the things we love. This is why we do what we do, talking about these cool things that we grew up with. So if you guys are interested in this, keep an eye on our Instagram page. After this show, there will be a post made, and comment on that post. tell us what you started collecting. What got you into the collecting phase of your life? What started you with hobbies? And we'll pick a winner from those. So, Garbage Pail Kids Series 4 pack, 5 cards, and a wonderful stick of old stale bubble gum. So, awesome. Very cool. All right. What's that?
He knows rummaging without a mute.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Dude, look what I found though. Look at the shit from like the 90s, dude.
He's
like
pulling out mom's basement stuff like my mom did.
Oh my god, look at this.
Nice.
Cowabunga fucking surfboards and stuff.
Yeah, it might be worth some money.
You're gonna dump that out for the little guy sometime.
I know. All this stuff. I looked at some of the action figures. They're like $5. It's not like that. This Cowabunga turtle one's only $5. So not too
All
bad.
right. Let's get on with our second guest. Our next guest, of course, another familiar face that has really helped us out in the top 10. He came on and did an amazing job on the top 10, but he's also a writer over at comicbookinvest.com. Mike Morello, thank you, brother, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And congratulations on 100, guys.
We appreciate it, brother.
What's up, Mike?
Nice shirt.
How's it going? Thank you. Yeah. Good choice today.
So
I didn't go with the Toy Informer shirt. I was going to do that. Peter beat me to it. So
yeah. Well, you did good, my friend. You did good. So
thanks.
Again, Mike is a writer over at comicbookinvest.com. A couple of articles he does. Mike, tell us what the articles you write for comicbookinvest.com.
My main weekly article is the Cover Tunes article. And that is really just it's kind of along the lines of what Peter does with his dollar bin digging. It's supposed to be an appreciation for just really cool covers that aren't necessarily worth anything. Sometimes they end up being worth something later on. But usually I'm just picking covers from a specific genre or theme or something that I just really love personally. Usually they're books I've actually found fairly recently in bins myself. Usually no more than $5 a pop, unless we're talking Golden Age books, in which case I make it a $50 or less thing. If it's silver, sometimes I'll do like a $20 or less thing. No variants, at least no incentives or store variants anyway. I'll allow B covers in there and stuff like that. And then it's really just covers I love. I've forgotten about books. Things that people might want to go hunt if they can't get the high price stuff. There's sometimes alternatives to those, and it might sort of satiate their appetite for, I don't know, say a really cool artist or a really awesome character or a particular run of a book. If you can't afford the number 1, the number 4 may be just as awesome of a cover. So that's kind of what the article does. I just finished issue 89 today, so I'm looking forward to dropping that on Wednesday. And you have the 88 up there right now, which was the sort of year-end celebration of my top, what ended up being 13 covers rather than the top 10. But it was sort of my homage to Ben Stein over there in his top 10. It was my own little top 10 for books that I featured at one point in the year that were worth nothing when I featured them, and then something happened where either they got hot for some other reason, or people just latched onto the covers for just because they forgot about them or because they liked them. So this is the top 10.
Real quick, since you got a new one coming out, let's go ahead and hit on some of these. Let's start with your first one, Elric number 1. What made this book hot, and why did you pick it?
Well, I originally picked it just because the art is so different, especially for the age of it. For a 1983, I think, book, it just seemed older to me. It had a sort of an early bronze feel to it. I just really love the look of it. I'm a huge Conan, Red Sonja kind of guy. And when the Elric news hit, about 2 months after I picked this book, maybe a month after I picked this book, this was one of the books that kind of got hot. Obviously, that Conan 14 was the one that everybody really wanted, but this one also incidentally got hot as well. And I always love to see the market kind of latch on to a book that I just like the looks of. So I used to just grab this thing out of 50-cent bins all the time, and now I don't know what it goes for now. News has kind of gotten a little cold on this, but this got hot on the Bay for a while. This was definitely the hottest book of the year from my picks, anyway.
And this goes back to kind of what Peter was talking about with his article, Dollar Bin Digging. This is something that, you can go through those dollar bins and those bins and you see a cover that you like. And this is definitely a cover that stands out. So even if you don't know what this book is. So, of course.
I guess it would be considered a key now, but it wasn't then.
Yeah. We all know the Black Widow book. This is the regular cover, but Ben, I believe the variant where she's in the white uniform was a pretty big book on the Hot 10 this year for one of the Hot 10 lists.
Yeah, it spiked because of the Black Widow trailer where she dropped out of a plane or something like that and landed with the white suit on.
Yeah, so that's we kind of all know about that. Of course, here's the George Perez Marvel fanfare. This is a book that I love to grab every time I see it. I really love the Black Widow books that kind of have this, background with the web. This is kind of something that they key in on a lot. There's a couple books. I believe Frank Miller did a Black Widow cover that's kind of like this, if I remember. But there's a couple books with Black Widow, and it has the spider web in the background.
Yeah, isn't there a
that Daredevil?
Daredevil.
There's a Joelle Jones variant with Black Widow, I believe, that looks similar to that. It's new.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool book. And then this is a book that I've been picking up out of bins for a long time. Of course, it's an Adam Hughes cover that a lot of people don't realize is Adam Hughes. But with Mandalorian, what a beautiful cover.
It really is. Yeah, and I chose it for just the reason that you said was one of those, people think girls when they think Adam Hughes. They don't really think dude covers or specifically not Star Wars covers, even though he did do about 10 or so Star Wars covers. And this one's just, it's just beautiful from a lighting perspective and color. And it's really great cover. And it's one, like you said, people just ignore. But there's that in the corner there.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great cover.
What's that, Z?
What's that?
Slave that never really took off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking? Like why a lot of people don't know about this?
I mean, it never took off. This one took off bits and pieces. They just were covers that you don't see very often and just haven't went.
Yeah, I really like, and Peter talks about the lens flare that's going on there. It's pretty interesting that being in there. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing that he added. I've always been an Adam Hughes fan. Obviously, I gotten some original art from him, and he's probably my favorite artist. But I try to tend to find a lot of the books that aren't his mainstay. His good girl books, I guess you would call them. And this is one. There's of course that Darth Vader cover, the one-off Darth Vader from the same run. Is another great cover. I think it's Purge, Darth Vader Purge, I think it's called.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, great.
There's
book.
a really rare cover, really rare Hughes cover just popped up on eBay yesterday. For anybody looking for that Foreign Dolmen book that he did, one finally popped up on the bay yesterday. I can't afford it. It's like $450, but if anybody's been searching for that book, one popped up yesterday. Go grab it.
Oh, there you go. This is a book I believe we saw recently. Ben, did you pick one of these up?
I got the Virgin. I got a 9.8 in the Virgin.
Yes.
Of course you did. I've never seen the Virgin of this. I wanted it so bad. This is one of my favorite covers of all time. I am an absolute whore for Red Sonja. You could put pretty much anything in front of me with Red Sonja on it and I'll buy it. But this cover is among my top 5 Red Sonja covers, and I would love to have one of those Virgins at some point. But this definitely satisfies me. It's just, it's a gorgeous cover. It really is. Yeah, I don't see a thing wrong with it.
Nope, I agree. Other than the artist who drew it, but we'll not deal with that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I was going to say that, but I don't know. The cover is the cover.
Yes, it is.
Mike, the real quick, the Red Virgin, or Red Sonja, sorry, Red Virgin, the Red Sonja cover, where it's a Virgin cover. It's mostly all white, where she's in water and her hair is kind of like on the cover or on the surface.
Yeah, that's a frisson. That's a frisson.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's a frisson.
You're right. It is a frisson. It's one of the 1 in 75s that they did.
No, it was 150, and
150.
I had it, and I I damaged it to where I had,
Yeah, I have one too that I damaged too, Ben. So we're on that same boat.
I ripped it in half and threw it in the trash.
Oh no!
So there's only 49 of them now.
I still have mine, Ben. It's buried. It's probably a 9.4. I don't know.
And you know me, I obviously I hate Jenny Frisson, so now I'm really upset with you. That's that I guess to answer the other half of your question from earlier, that's the other thing I do for the site is I do a lot of creator interviews every year. I'll try to go to 4 or 5 cons, and at each con I'll try to pick one creator that I really admire, either from a writing standpoint or from an art standpoint, and I'll try to give him an interview. And the first real one that I did, the first really good one that I did about 2 years ago was Jenny. And to tell you that she is an amazing person to interview would be a huge understatement. She's great. We've done a second interview this past year at Heroes Con, and I plan to bug her next year.
Yeah,
so,
one of the things that that kind of reminds me of is, there's that saying out there that sometimes it's hard to meet your heroes because they're bound to disappoint you, but sometimes you meet them and it's even better than you imagined. And that interview with Jenny really kind of stamped that. What a great person she seems to be. Her art is amazing. I really like how she handles herself. If I remember correctly, she doesn't do any sketches or anything. She kind of doesn't want to sully the water with that. Is that right?
Yeah, she said when I asked her that question in Memphis the first time we talked, and she said, she used to do sketches, but what that ended up doing was taking a lot of time away from her meeting fans, and she really didn't like that. She really wanted to be able to meet everybody that wanted to see her. She'll, at the time anyway, I think she's still doing it. She'll sign anything people put in front of her for free. She's really gracious with her time. She really loves being there for fans, and I think that doing the art at the shows is really taking away from her being able to meet people. And that really upset her. So she stopped doing it. And I think that's a great reason. Yeah.
Yep. So make sure you guys go check out that interview. But those, we just kind of wanted to hit on a couple of these. Make sure you guys go check out the latest cover tunes. He's got another one coming out soon, so keep your eyes on that. We're going to do our best to have on a lot of the comicbookinvest.com writers. But real quick, just like we did for Peter, I also want to talk about you have a part in Toy Informer also. Why don't you explain what you do for Toy Informer?
Awesome. Yeah. And this is obviously something that we're all kind of doing new. We realized about, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, how much we all love toys, almost as much, if not more than comic books in some cases. And I do sort of, my big thing is vintage Star Wars. So I do the Star Wars waves, the catch-a waves for vintage Star Wars. But my real fun thing, I guess, and Ben C and I kind of came up with this, was I have a toy closet, and I have it set up kind of like a little toy store, like an old Toys R Us. And I showed it to him once, and he said, "Dude, you should just do a segment, grab something out of your closet every week and write it up."
We actually
I do this Mike's Closet article.
We actually have a couple of those here that we're kind of play. They're only about 20, 30 seconds long. So I actually have a couple queued up. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and play them and let you just kind of riff on them here once we're done. So
that'd be
here
awesome.
We go.
Thanks.
The first one, episode number 3. Here we go, guys.
What good is a collection you can't share? Welcome to my closet. Hope you like what you see.
The infamous Snaggletooth.
Yeah. One of the grails for most vintage Star Wars collectors. It was never carded. It only came in a baggie in a white box, either as a mail away from the Sears catalog or within the Sears exclusive Cantina set. And to find it at all is probably a $200 loose figure, $250. If it's really mint and the silver on the boots is sort of untouched, it can be upwards of $400 or $500 loose. And in a baggie, it is I don't even know what they go for now. I think if you have it with the correct Greedo, both in the correct bags with the box, it's an easy grand for what is essentially 2 loose figures, which is pretty crazy.
And,
so
for those of you guys out there that don't know, also keep your eyes out for G.I. Joe Sears figures. A lot of G.I. Joe's figures they did in Sears, kind of like that same thing, that are pretty tough to find. Let's go ahead and hit. We got 2 more to go. Let's go ahead and hit episode 4. This one kind of hits home for me. This is one of the infamous boxes I got from my mom saying she forgot to give me something as a kid. Was what you have spotlighted in episode 4. So here we go.
What good is a collection you can't share? Welcome to my closet. Hope you like what you see.
The plush Ewoks, the first kitty toy from Star Wars.
You know, I love the Ewoks. Maybe it's just a product of my exact age. I just turned 43 a couple of days ago, and it's like everybody that I find that's my age love the Ewoks. Anybody that's on the periphery of those ages hates them for some reason, but I mean, I love them. So the plush ones were a really cool way to own them. Obviously, there was figures for them too, and there was an Ewoks cartoon, and there was 2 movies, and a lot of Ewoks merch. But I love the plush ones. There's some rare ones too, towards the end, and some of the baby Ewoks are tough to find tagged as well. But yeah, that was a Wicket that I showed there. But
Yep, I had that exact same one. I sold it too. Yeah, very cool. All right, the last one. This will be a fan to a lot of video game guys out there. Of course, big shout out to Matt DeVoe. He might recognize this one. Here we go.
What good is a collection you can't share? Welcome to my closet. Hope you like what you see.
One of the original handhelds.
yeah, oh man, I mean, everybody. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people remember, of course, I guess it was Coleco made a line of some of the really popular games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and Centipede and some of those. But the game that I loved to play in the actual arcade was Tron. And anybody who was with me at Heroes Con knew that I blew a lot of quarters on that Tron machine in Charlotte.
Yep.
But the closest thing you could really have in your home wasn't the Atari version. It wasn't the Coleco version. It was that Tomy handheld that they used, that they marketed with the toys of the time. And it is a pretty close approximation of the arcade game. And then Tomy used that casing to make a bunch of other games that were sort of kind of loosely based on games that people knew already, but they were original games, and they were a pretty cool way to sort of get those in your home. Really fun way to play them, and they're pretty rare, especially in boxes. Some of them can be upwards of $200-300 in boxes now, especially that Tron one, which is pretty sought after.
That game was so hard.
It is hard. It really is hard.
It was so hard.
And the levels go, it gets more difficult. So there's 3 levels. It's essentially 3 games in one. And after you play the 3rd game, it then just ups the difficulty level, and it keeps doing that every time. I have never made it past the 2nd level ever. So I don't know if it's even possible, to be honest. I'm not a great gamer, but I definitely never did well there. I'm gonna show off against Peter. There's my pop-up lightsaber, R2, by the way. So you scan by it 3 times, but that's mine. An unpunched example, although it does have a crease in the card down here, but it is a pretty decent bubble and an unpunched example. This is one of my prizes in my vintage collection.
That's
so
very
I actually
beautiful.
think I'm going to probably feature this soon in a Mike's Closet.
Very beautiful, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's another thing that I love is I love, people showing off these cool things. I don't really consider it showing off, but I love seeing stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of what I need to go find.
When we chatted about the idea for it, it was sort of one of these things where I said, I don't know. It seems kind of like I'm flexing a little bit if I do that. And the people that I was talking to about it said, no, I think it's kind of authentic if you're showing, you're highlighting things that you actually put your money against. You went and you bought that thing. You obviously like it. You wanted it, because I'm not a rich guy, obviously. So, I mean, I think that when I choose to spend money on something like that, I really want it. And I want to show it off because I want to share it with people and I want them to like it too. And that's why I do those. the third article that I do for that site is one called Toying Around. It's not every week, but it is sort of highlighting some of the I don't know, kind of the redheaded stepchildren of toys. It's things like vending machine toys and cereal box toys, Happy Meal toys, stuff like that. Just sort of fun, forgotten about, ephemeral stuff that people often threw away. I love that stuff, especially the vintage ones. Although I have highlighted a few modern ones as well. But that's sort of fun for me too, because it's stuff that you can get into pretty cheaply. There's a few rare ones here and there, but for the most part, that stuff's pretty cheap. $3, $4, $5 a pop on eBay. You can get pretty much any one of those toys you want. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool. Philip Chung says, anyone collect Lego sets? There is a lot of very cool articles on Toy Informer about Lego stuff. And that will be heavy in some future shows. So keep your eyes open.
Yes, there'll actually be a Mike's Closet on some old Lego sets pretty soon, as a matter of fact.
Very cool.
Can I enter into the pickups for the day?
Of course, man.
Is that all right? I can't. I'm definitely Stein. I'm upset with you about that 75-second print, man. I have looked for that book since I was a teenager. So love that book a lot. And if you sell it,
which one did you want?
The Sandman 75-second print.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, I picked up a weird book today. Ben, hopefully Ben C is still in the chat, because it's a golden age book. I picked this up today for $20. It is a Top Notch Comics, or what sort of the title got changed to Top Notch Laugh Comics. This is issue 44, which is the second to last one. It's obviously sort of a good girl cover, and I bought it for $20 because I love the cover today. And then I looked it up. There's only 6 on the census, and there's a 0.5 on My Comic Shop at the moment, which they want $200 for. And the last copy was a 9.2. It was a pedigree. It may have been a Mile High copy. Went for $2,700. So I'm pretty happy with that pickup today. I found it at my LCS. I fell in love with the cover. See, that's exactly sort of what Cover Tunes is. I bought it because I love the cover. I didn't really care if it had any value.
Say that again, Z.
I've never seen that cover, but I could tell you it's a good cover just looking at it. Good.
I was about to say I could see Z's head over there just working.
Do you know anything more about it? I don't. I mean, I know that I love the cover.
Absolutely not, but it's the one that catches your eye.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I snagged it off the wall and I said I have to have that. And I brought it home and I looked it up and I was pleasantly surprised to find that there's only 6 of them on the census. And there's really only 2 high grade ones. There's a mid grade and then there's 2 low grades. That's probably I don't know. I'm thinking this is probably like a 3-ish, something like that. But I mean, still, there's a chip in it up at the top.
I mean, for being 1944, that's not terrible. I mean,
that's why the golden age. Sometimes it doesn't have to be famous. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just something that catches your eye. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
Idiots like me can go, well, that's a good book. I want it.
Yeah, I had to have it. It was just one of those things I had to have. I found a Plastic Man the other day too that I just had to have. It was clearly inspired by Pre-Code Horror. It was a Plastic Man 35, and I don't collect Plastic Man, but I saw this cover. What's that? That's the dude with the lightning coming out of his eyes.
Oh, yeah. Plastic Man's got several good horror covers.
Such a cool cover. It was really a cool cover. I had to have that one too. Again, I didn't really care if it was worth a dime or $1 million. I had to have it.
I'll give you a little info. Obviously, it's a 10 center. Harry's Saleh is a pencils and inks guy on it. Obviously, it's featuring Black Hood and Susie.
Obviously.
Let's see, what else can I find? They have scripts and signs and stuff like that. Synopsis is basically Clara Bell is going to marry Bug-Eye, but the preacher turns out to be a nutty from the state asylum, I guess.
I don't think it has anything to do with any of that. It's just a cover that's like you don't see them.
Yeah, I mean,
just a good, clean, good girl cover. That's why I grabbed it. Yeah,
and it's a dark cover for 44 theoretically. I mean, it's not like a white, It's pretty dark. It's probably hard. Obviously, besides that pedigree, that 9.2 is probably hard to get a top-notch grade on it.
Yeah. Just exciting to see a book like that just sitting in my LCS. Those things don't pop up very often.
Well, I think
it's Golden Age. Don't look at what it is. Don't look at it. Just look at it and see if it's a pretty cover. Regardless of genre, they stick out.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy that you had to throw out there that hopefully Ben C is still around. And because we also have Yanni that says, I'm sure Ben C knows. So, but the funny thing is, right after he put that, Ben goes out there and says, "It's an Archie, right? Is it an Archie?"
I think it's an MLJ, which I think wasn't that an offshoot of Archie?
Yeah, slash MLJ. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, again, real quick, I just want to say what a couple of us have said already. There's a lot of old school names in here joining us tonight, and we want to say thank you guys for being here with us. Again, thank you, Mike, for jumping on with us, and thank you again to Peter. We appreciate you guys, and we're going to have these guys on more, along with some other guests coming up in the future. So continue to watch and subscribe and like if you haven't already.
Check out their articles and comment. Those comments are important. So they want your feedback. So if you read it, just make a quick comment.
Thanks. Yep. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I love talking to people in the comments. That's kind of the most fun part, really.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation about these books. They're fun.
Exactly. That's kind of one of the reasons we do it also, so we can create that conversation, create that community. And we got a great community here. So if you guys are not part of it, go ahead and join. We're not shy. So thank you, Mike. We appreciate it, brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Right.
Happy 100th.
All right. Cheers, brother.
You got it.
All right. We Paul, you want to give away our next giveaway?
Yeah, you want me to do them both at once?
That's up to you, brother. Let's give it a go.
Let me find the tab.
Oh boy, I feel bad for whoever's getting these two. If Paul's giving them away,
No.
It's not called Paul's Problems.
No, we're good. Our Instagram giveaway is for the CBSI variant, Sierra and the Royal Stars, as well as Pretty Violent #1 from Black Cape Comics. I'm going to post their link, blackcapecomics.com, in the chat, as well as the link to their Instagram. And so from our Instagram contest giveaway, Mason Rad is the winner. So Mason Rad on Instagram, message us, Tales from the Flipside, your name and address, and that you're the winner, and we'll get that book out to you. And maybe I wasn't clear on our Facebook instructions. We have a total of 0 live comments, which was part of the contest rules, was to comment live. So we have three viewers and no comments for the past 2 hours. So Facebook is obviously an anomaly of its own. But so I'm going to just kind of shoot in the dark here and go from the comments that were received on the post itself. And I'm going to go ahead and give this out to Jeff Bowman.
And which one is this?
This is the Facebook giveaway for Over the Ropes #1, the CBSI variant, and then The Plot #1 from the One Stop Shop and their website, the onestopshopgames.com, which I'll send on the YouTube chat, as well as in conjunction with their Instagram. And I think the image for that one might only be on their website. Brian, I see you pulling up the website, or the CBSI website, that is. But so yeah, Jeff Bowman, go same deal on Instagram. Message us, Tales from Flipside, that you were our picked winner, and I'll get that out to you. And if we don't hear from you, then we'll give these books out to another person down the line. So we'll give them to somebody. But so yeah, I guess the Facebook experiment was a slight flop. But what do you expect with me involved, right?
Yes. Well, again, everybody, we want to give a big thank you to comicbookinvest.com and Ben C. Make sure you guys go there for all your comic speculation needs. Also, check out their variants section. Of course, we always talk about their variants over there. They do some cool stuff. Really cheap buy-ins, $10, $11, $12. Always $1 for every sale goes to charity. And they got some really cool homage covers that they do over there. We've, of course, talked about Over the Ropes, but there's a lot of really cool homage covers. Plus, make sure you go over there and check out not only the articles and everything. They've got a lot of cool checklists, a lot of cool first appearance stuff. But you can also go to the swag section and get get all your shirts and all that cool stuff. Of course, the shirt that our own Paul is wearing right now that you can see, you can pick up over there at what's that, CBSIswag.com. Does that sound right,
Yes,
everybody?
sir.
So make sure you go and get that. And of course, you will be seeing the Toy Informer shirts shortly. So keep your eyes over there at Toy Informer. And I think we're getting close to end this, guys. One thing that we might want to talk about real quick before we call it a night is, 100 episodes. I'm sure a couple of us have our favorite moments. Maybe we end our 100th episode off with our favorite. Maybe a couple of us give our favorite moments over those first 99 episodes. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first. It's not necessarily a moment in the show, but I do want to I want to make sure that I give a big thanks, one, to Trey for initially starting the podcast. I remember when they were doing Unpressable Defects, and then they kind of were like, "Oh, you guys, he kind of picked us to do it." So it would have never started had we not, had Trey not even
Correct.
Thought of doing it. We were kind of like the anti-hero of Unpressable Defects. I mean, we were kind of the complete opposite, and still, if that show were still around, we still would be the complete opposite. But so I want to give a big shout out to Trey for that, and I also want to give a big shout out to Ben C for helping us since he took over and promoting us and and having our backs. That's a big deal, and it's. I mean, we used to do it the show so sporadically. We would be like, we'll do it like once every 2 weeks. Oh, we can't do it this week, so we'll do it once every 3. And then when we moved to once a week and started doing live show, live on YouTube and stuff, it was a big help having Ben C back us, and I appreciate it. And I just want to make sure that all the people that have been on the show at one time and have helped us out, it's a big thanks.
I totally forgot. I forgot when we were every other week.
Oh yeah, I mean, remember
every other was a stretch.
Yeah, we were like, oh yeah, we can't do it this week. We'll do it next week.
Yeah, every 3 weeks. And
like, oh, we're on episode 4 in month 6.
We had episode 100, but we might be on year 5.
Yeah. Well, why don't you guys talk about that? What episode for the first couple episodes? Who was the cast on the first couple episodes?
Oh gosh, we had like 7 or 8 people.
It was us 4, Scotty, Brian Wood, and then Matt.
Was Wood on the first episode?
I thought so.
I think we picked Wood up later.
We?
You know who? You know the Forgotten Beetle.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Johnny Brown.
I was gonna say John Brown that never made an appearance.
That's okay.
Silent partner.
I am pretty sure Brian Wood joined us like 5 or 10 episodes in.
I'll have to go back and watch that one. I don't know if you want to do that.
Hey, all I know is the first, I think the first 2 episodes, I may have said 2 sentences the entire show.
The earliest episode before we even were on camera, before cameras were invented. 8. Number 8 is on YouTube. I don't know where 1 through 7 are.
We weren't on camera at 8, were we?
No.
No, I'm saying before cameras were invented. I was just messing around. Our first camera episode was
in the 30s, right?
Number 40. I see a picture of Stein.
Okay.
Number 63.
You're going the wrong way now.
I'm pretty sure we had
after 40, Paul.
I'm pretty sure neither Brian was on when we started, and we added them both along the way.
Maybe.
I came in pretty late. I want to say it was funny because you guys had put this is back when the G Plus was still going. And you guys had put a little thing up saying, hey, we're going to run a contest for anybody that might want to join us and just jump on as a guest thing. Make a comment if you want to do it. And I think there was like 5 or 6 of us that made comments. and you guys did a raffle. And I want to say the first person that you picked couldn't make it, so you kind of hit me up short notice. And I remember it was the first podcast that I had ever done. I hadn't had the podcast in I mean, it was kind of in our heads, been in our heads for years, but we hadn't decided to do it. And I wasn't even on Absolute Geek yet. And I remember, we didn't have the cameras or anything, but I was still pretty nervous. And I didn't have a microphone, nothing. I think I used like an old WoW headset that I had, and that was falling apart. And I just remember coming on and chopping it up with you guys, and it got really easy really quick, and it just felt like I was on here with some friends just bullshitting, which still to this day it feels like every episode that we're just on here with some good friends just bullshitting about what we love to do.
I quickly realized he was the smartest guy in the room in about 4 minutes.
Yeah. Number 8 was Dino, myself, Scott, and Stein.
Oh.
With all audio, no video, and all that good stuff.
That was number 8.
Number 8. I don't know where 1 through 7 is out there somewhere, but
Oh, you know what? It's on my personal page, I think, because I didn't set up the podcast. I didn't set up like the actual channel.
Dino's gonna bootleg that later.
Oh, so is Dino the one that's saying that he owns the podcast then?
Pretty much. I sat there and was like, this isn't going to go well, so I'll just keep it before we actually put more effort and time into it. And we still haven't put more effort and time to it 100 episodes later.
You're nothing without me.
Yeah. Ben, you did a shout out for Trey, and we got to throw Sean and all the unpressable guys in there, Coy, Mel, Jimmy, for doing that show. That show was Dennis Hayes he asked who remembers the first comic podcast you watched and followed. And for me, I think I remember listening to the podcast when they very first started, back in like early 2000s. And I remember there was a couple comic ones like Comic Geek Speak and iFanboy, but there was never obviously a speculation podcast. Most of those podcasts just talked about news and, storylines and this and that. There was never any speculation stuff. So, of course, UD was that very first speculation thing. And I remember being so excited when all those OGs were talking about doing that podcast. And then to hear everybody's voice, you know what I mean? That was kind of like the first thing. We recognized everybody as their pictures on their G Plus, stuff, instead of who they were. And then you slowly saw heard their voices, and then saw their faces on the videos. So a big shout out again, like Ben said, to those guys. And for those of you guys that might not know, check out Trey and Sean, along with Doc Joe and Keith S. over at the Collectibles podcast. We're hopefully gonna figure out a way to pull some strings and get some of those guys on when we do a spotlight on the Collectibles. We're gonna try and spotlight some of the other shows that we think out there are doing some cool stuff out there on the interwebs, and that's definitely one of the ones that we want to spotlight in the future. But yeah, definitely those guys kind of started this whole speculation podcast game thing, and it was pretty cool. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Thank you to them. Anybody else?
Definitely good stuff. Chris, saying everyone was drunk.
Yeah. I definitely want to say to those guys that aren't here, I know we kind of put this together pretty fast, and there was kind of a thought that we would try to get Scotty and Wood and DeVoe on here, and which would have been really cool. So hopefully we can maybe try and get those guys on.
We tried to get DeVoe, but he's still trying to log on.
Yeah, he's been trying to log on for months.
For 22 episodes straight.
Yeah. But big shout out to those guys. And, like I said earlier, I can't thank those guys and you guys enough for taking a shot on me and saying, hey, come on the show. And then, after that, a little while after that, hey, why don't you come on as a regular? So I really appreciate it. Kind of started off my whole professional podcaster thing.
Hey, when the first time we jumped on camera and I saw you, I was like, whoa, you got really long hair. Like, I was not like what was in my mind was not even close to what you look like.
How many?
No, not at all.
I mean, that's the other crazy thing. I mean, like I was saying, there's a lot of us that we just saw people's, pics, their little, what do they call that?
The avatars.
The avatars, yeah. So it's really amazing how this community kind of grew, and most of us have never met each other face to face, and it feels like we've been friends for years. So.
Well, sorry, Brian. We've all the four of us have met each other.
You four have, but most of us in the CBSI community, that is.
If you ever come east of the Mississippi, we'll meet you.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to catch a ride with Big Leg and DeVoe one of these days out to Baltimore.
So. I don't think it's really working out. It's 100 episodes, and I think it's not working out. We gotta let you go, I think. And as you guys are doing it, I'm ripping packs, man. This is terrible. I don't know why these.
Well, that's another thing that we probably ought to talk about real quick is, the whole community thing that we wanted to. We'll kind of end the show on that. Is we wanted to talk about shows out there that were in the interwebs that are doing cool things. And our first community spotlight, we're just going to talk about the programming that you can find on the Flipside YouTube page. We have 3 little extra shows that we have as bonuses. Of course, the first is the one and only Hot 10 show. What Ben writes every week, he just kills it. He's kind of our base that we put everything on. I think the Hot 10, I'm really stoked that we've kind of got handed the reins for that Hot 10 show. I don't know how you do it every week, man. This last week was a fire list. Just want to say appreciate you putting in that hard work and doing that every week. Why don't you talk a little bit real quick without going too crazy about how the Hot 10 started and how you got into that role?
Again, I would have to thank Trey for that. Trey did the Hot 10 when it was only on before the website was even out there. Which is actually how I found the G Plus site, was just doing, hot comics or something like that. And the G Plus popped up. Then once it moved to the website, he did it for about 6 months or something like that. And then he was not able to do it. And he messaged me and said, "Hey, can you fill in?" So I filled in, then he got, he was able to keep doing it. I think he asked Leg to do it once or twice. And then he just said, "I can't do this anymore at all, but I don't really trust anybody else to do it. So can you do it?" And
still filling in to this day.
I guess I've been doing it now for 3.5 years. So it's been a long time for sure, but so I'm always appreciative of anybody that comments, good or bad. I don't take offense to anything. So it's kind of cathartic sometimes for me to just go through and kind of zone out and just do the list and not have to think about life, and all the bad stuff going on outside my 4 walls of my house.
Yeah.
And I can just kind of think about things that people might be able to talk about.
And we got to give a big shout out to Simple Mans and Brian and Jack over there. They kind of started off doing with the video portion of the show, and then they got too big for their britches and said, we have the writer over here on Flipside. Ben should really be doing the show, and I'm really happy that Ben decided to get in front of the camera and kind of do it. I know it's a lot of work, but it's definitely a show that we're still riding his coattails. So thank you, brother. The other show that we got going right now is kind of what Dino's back there doing.
What am I doing back here?
Yeah, he's back there ripping packs, and one of the things that we've kind of gotten into lately, to John Z's disgust, is sports cards and we're trying to be a little bit more heavy in the trading cards. We just haven't found the right set.
It's purely because I have no luck.
Yeah, right. And I think kind of how this might have started is big shout out to Brian Wood for opening that initial box break. I mean, one of my favorite all-time Flipside things is when Wood said that he's got a box of, I think it was Contenders. He jumped in the pool first with a playoff Contenders box and opened it live on air on his Simple Man's YouTube channel. I think the video is still up there, and went through the whole box and didn't see his hit. And I want to say like 2 days later, Ben, am I right? Were you the first one to call it out?
I don't remember if I was the first one to call it out, but I called him out like, dude, turn that Saquon Barkley over. Just flip the card over. Oh, that's a Saquon Barkley autograph numbered out of 99. Oh, oops.
That's a $300 card that just paid for that whole box and then some.
Are you nuts? I didn't even realize that was what it was.
I got a guy named Saquon Barkley. I don't know if he's good or not.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the video, I mean, he's just flipping through them. He's like, oh, there's Saquon Barkley. And then he just keeps going. Like, didn't even stop.
Yeah. Well, while I'm going to talk about Dino real quick, Dino, why don't you show some of maybe the little hits that you're pulling out of there. I'm going to go ahead and put you up here.
Nothing.
Go ahead and show them some of the stuff that you're pulling out of there. Maybe if you got anything.
Nolan Arenado. I mean,
what are you opening?
A Travis. 2018 Series 1, 2019 Series 1.
Oh, so
I can't even find cards. I go to the store and they have nothing.
Mike Trout, regular card. Acuna inserts, which are garbage anyways.
Yeah. So basically, what we have going on, where we kind of just jumped on Wood's coattails again, with his box break, is me and Dino will go buy boxes like this right here. Here's a Topps Chrome box that I just recently picked up from 2017. He's got some blaster boxes that he's pulling out of Walmart, and of course, we just kind of go on there and. I let Dino continue with his hosting abilities. That the only reason I'm talking so much tonight is because Dino's over there sick to death.
It's fine though.
Yeah, and we just do this right here, and we open packs live on air. And if we pull anything good, we kind of show it, and there was nothing in that pack, and we just kind of keep going, and you never know what we might pull out of the packs. But
there's a reason you don't invite me, because I don't ever get anything good.
Well, yeah, like John Z. Oh, here we go.
He has to bring the average down. Okay. Yeah.
A perfect example is this right here.
Oh Jesus! Look, he already pulls a hitter.
Yeah, right. So sometimes you get lucky and pull a Darius Miles autograph or a Sam Bowie autograph out of Panini Prism, or sometimes you open a 2017 Topps Chrome and you pull a numbered to 299 Aaron Judge rookie refractor out of it.
I mean, no big deal.
So yeah, that's kind of crazy. But that's kind of what we do, and if that's something that you guys might want to join us on, and open up some packs, you let us know what you got. You walk into a Walmart and you might buy a couple retail boxes, and you hit us up over social media or over the email and tell us you want to join the show with us, and we'll get you on the show and you open up some stuff. Hey, if it's a sports cards or maybe it's non-sports, maybe. Like we try to get Paul to open up some Star Trek stuff, or maybe get Chad on here. One of the commenters, Chad's talking about he picked up some Spawn boxes that he's ready to open. Maybe we'll get Chad on here and we'll open up some of those Spawn boxes. So if you ever get a chance and you want to join us, just hit us up. So, but the last show that we want to hit on is our newest show, and it's something that I'm pretty excited about. I'm pretty proud that Z and Matt have put it together, and we have a guest coming on next week that's going to also kind of be part of their knowledge base. But it's the new show that I'm going to go ahead and just play their quick little intro video with real quick. Here we go. And I can't give Z enough credit, and Matt even more credit for the hype that's going on with these foreign comics right now. Why don't you explain about what you guys are doing there, Z?
All right, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Matt Roybal and I from Foreign Comic Collector Magazine are just doing a podcast to highlight some of the foreigns. The kind of flagship show that we launched last week is Global Comic Safari. We're going to highlight sets, and we talk about sets as just foreign editions of famous covers. So last week we covered New Mutants 87. We're going to do Batman 227 next. But, you know, we've had Matt on the show a few times. He talked about ASM 300. We've talked about Spawn 1. Just famous books that everybody loves and just seeing different versions of them. So that's what we're going to do there. Trying to keep it brief, trying to keep it cool, trying to just show you what it is and show you what you can find and what's out there. We're also going to do a little other foreign programming. Probably tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to drop a market report Matt and I did. We're also going to maybe do some pickup shows and just really push on the foreign market and show what's out there. So Robert Fordham is going to guest with us on this show next week for episode 101 and show a really, really impressive pickup amongst many that he's grabbed. That when I'm jealous of a foreign pickup, it's a pretty damn good book. So
yeah, Fordham's awesome.
Yeah, Robert is a nut. So come on in, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah,
And again, that goes to the community that has kind of been built along with CBSI and everybody around here, you know, sharing their collecting focus. And one of the things that we got coming along with Robert, hopefully next episode, is we're going to key in on maybe our collecting goals for this upcoming year and our flipping/selling goals. So be ready for that. Make sure you guys subscribe and you like. Once we get up there to 1,000 subscribers, also if we can get our Instagram up there a little bit higher to get some couple extra things that we can do on Instagram, it'll make this show a lot more fun for I think you guys on some stuff we can do for you. So we appreciate you guys sharing this, liking, subscribing, commenting. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we can do better, and just say what's up. So.
I got to do a Paul's problem before we go for episode.
Yes, you do. That's what one of the things that we do, guys. If you're not familiar, is we end the show. We like to try and end the show with the famous Paul's problem. So we're gonna go ahead and let Paul end this one. So yeah, here we go.
We'll see what happens with the Paul's problems in 2020. I'm starting to run out, but
well, that knife's a good start.
Yes, sir.
Your wife just wanted us to have some fodder for news stories.
So for the 7 people who aren't watching live, sorry you missed out on this good story. So I have a prop for this story, which is one of those head scratchers.
Oh boy,
one of those, yeah. And
I saw you doing that. That's all I could think of is.
So before we had kids, when we were back in our apartment building, I was in the bedroom, sitting in bed reading a book or something, and my wife was in the living room watching TV, and this was on the nightstand, and I knocked it off somehow, of course, but one of these little metal things fell into the surge protector. So all I heard was just, and all the lights in the apartment went down, like, and came back up again. And I started laughing immediately, but my wife's like, "Are you okay?" What happened? And I was like, and so the surge protector was all black, and all the lights, like, it tripped the breaker, so the like bedside light was out, and so that's how I almost burnt down our first apartment building full of God knows how many hundreds of people. But
with the head scratcher.
Just like, I mean, perfect aim, right? Just fell in there perfect. So
all of you that Don't believe that Paul's Problems is real. That's what he did with the head scratcher. Imagine what he does with a knife.
Exactly.
I don't think Paul's Problems are going to be ending this year. I think we got many more to come. So, with that being said, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 100. Hopefully, you guys will join us for another 100, and we'll see where it goes from there. Anybody else got anything?
No, that's it. I can't follow that.
No, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Almost 2.5 hours, and that's a wrap. Thanks, guys.
God, see ya.